Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one amazing responsibility. I know this from watching my own wife, how crazy it is, switching back and forth from trauma nurse to afternoon mathematician, from organizer-in-chief to five-star chef. This Mother's Day, show her how much you appreciate every job she does with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you get ahead of the Mother's Day rush, 1-800-Flowers will give you an exclusive 36 for 36 offer, 36 sorbet roses for just $36. That's only $1 per rose. With an impressive mix of pastel shades in pink, orange, and lavender, these roses are guaranteed to make her smile. Stunning sorbet roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, mother. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 36 sorbet roses for only $36 is an amazing offer, but you need to hurry because it expires Friday. Just pick your delivery date and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what mom would want you to do. To order 36 sorbet roses for only $36, simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. Hurry. Offer ends on Friday.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Carl Tart.
I'm Jackie's Neil.
And I'm Edgar Mopes here.
And we are the host of a new show called Culture Kings on How Stuff Works. We cover a whole range of topics on this show, but one of the things that we talk about the most is sports because we love them. Jackie, what's the sports opinion you have?
The Cubs are the best team of all time.
That's ridiculous. Edgar?
Kevin Durant is the greatest player of all time.
Nonsense. My favorite basketball player is LeBron James. He's the king of the world, and we'll get into that on Culture Kings. Download it wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere. Just listen to it, damn it.
So you know, Stugotz, that I don't like anything about the draft. I think much of it is silly. But last night I tuned in for a couple of pieces of it where the Dolphins drafted, bummed out by that, no matter how solid the pick is. And everyone says he'll be your secondary for 10 years. Minka Fitzpatrick is Nick Saban on the field, Nick Saban's favorite player. All that stuff is all well and fine. I just was super bummed that the Raiders got in there and got Josh Rosen. And I'm sorry, that
the
Cardinals got they got in there and they got Josh Rosen, and he was going to fall to the Dolphins. And then Adam Beasley reports in the Miami Herald that the Dolphins were going to get Minka either way, even if Rosen had fallen to them. And
so if Rosen fell to 11 without any trade-ups, they were still going to take Minka Fitzpatrick?
According to Adam Beasley of the Miami Herald, the Dolphins were going to pass on Rosen even if he fell to them, but the Cardinals were trading up there because they feared that the Dolphins were going to take Rosen.
Yes.
That's why they traded up there. So that part I wasn't very focused on anything beyond that part. The Dolphins did, but I heard you guys talking when I came in, and you were just talking about the draft coverage. You guys just ate up the draft coverage. And this is where I turned off the television on draft coverage, because my girlfriend was asking me, why does all of that sound so droning? Because it was just Pollock and Booger like on a stage, and it was just all of them talking about, players in a very nuts and bolts fashion. And I'm like, this is not entertaining. It might be informative to someone, but I'm not in any way entertained by this.
You were watching the ESPN2 college football perspective broadcast of it?
Yeah,
wow,
bad job.
Bold choice.
Okay, so by mistake.
Did you think that was the draft coverage?
I did think.
Did you wonder where
you thought the draft was on ESPN2?
No. I just that's the channel that was on. I thought that was ESPN.
Pollock and not Kuiper.
Really?
What?
I mean, no Mel, no me.
I thought it was the portion of them. I thought they had. No, listen to me.
That's amazing. Did you watch on Twitter? I mean, what did you do on Twitter?
Hold on. Everyone slow down because this is being misrepresented. I know what the draft looks like. I quit the profession in the middle of a draft that looked just like this one. I know what the draft looks like. The television in my house was on something for a 5-minute period that made me think they had thrown it out to that studio for some coverage.
Oh, you bogey. Old bogey.
5 ESPN channels now, Dan.
I know.
Oh, man. I am so bummed out. This is accelerating at a pace that I am not comfortable with. No. Oh, no. Damn.
Feel terrible.
You missed out, too. Yeah. You missed out, too, because this broadcast, it didn't have Boomer, didn't have Gruden, so it was a bit drier. than normal, but this was probably the most polished professional presentation of an NFL draft we've ever seen. And yeah, I like bells and whistles. I like to laugh. I really enjoyed a nuts and bolts draft coverage from ESPN that was really no laughs, no intentional laughs anyways, just information, and it was fantastic.
It really was. It was amazing. Surprises in the first round, but I'm telling you, the guy who stole the show last night, now you guys might, have a different opinion on this, but of that panel on ESPN, okay, that's where the draft is, by the way, Dan, ESPN.
ESPN 1, mothership.
Yeah, ESPN
the
1.
Mothership.
That's where Mel is, by the way. Kirk Herbstreit for me stole the show.
No, you're so wrong.
The skin, the suit, the hair, the tan. I mean, the information, just incredible.
No.
Great addition.
Last night was about Louis Riddick. Yeah. Last night was about Louis Riddick. And I, for one, enjoyed Kirk Herbstreit's addition to the panel. But Louis Riddick stole the show. It is Louis Riddick's time. Louis Riddick looked into a mirror and he said to himself, this is going to be the last draft I'm ever a part of, because the next draft I'm going to be running things from a war room because I'm going to be that impressive. And he stole the show.
Wow. Okay.
He made a statement. He did.
Absolutely.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Statement game for Riddick yesterday?
He came out, the first words he spoke, he came out like a bat out of hell, man.
Yeah.
He was ready to go. This was his moment, and he took it.
Have you ever seen him so energized? No. Never seen him so energized.
So much energy.
How about Mel's first words?
It was definitely... You talk about a guy. It was incredible. And, by the way, we were...
He couldn't hear the entire first segment. They threw it to Mel, like the big spot, right? It's Mel. They're going around the table. They go to Riddick. He gives his little spiel. They go to Herbstreit. He gives his little thing. Mel's laughing at God knows what because he can't hear anything. He's just laughing. And then they throw it to Mel Kiper. That's the big thing we're all waiting for, to kind of give you a little preview of the draft, and Mel can't hear.
He just gave Wingo the stare.
Yes,
like,
he did.
I can't hear a word you're saying, so I'm just going to stare at you.
And I loved it.
And Boomer would have recognized it.
Yeah.
Boomer would have known.
Yeah, Booms, yes.
Boomer would have recognized
Don't
what's
even
going
throw
on
it to
here.
Mel. Don't even throw it to Mel. Yes. Poor Hal, man. Yeah, you got to know there. Don't throw it to Mel. I mean, it was so clear. No one was laughing, and Mel was belly laughing.
By the way, Kiper was wearing that suit since 4 a.m. local time. That's the most impressive
He was locked in,
of the NFL draft. I told you on his podcast, he said he was going to wear the pink and blue tie. Did he disappoint? No. By the way, pink and blue tie with a black suit. Weird choice. Yeah. Navy blue with black. Yeah. Needs a stylist, probably. Yeah. Wow. But he was in that suit since 4 a.m. local time.
Yeah.
It looked like he brought out a new jacket, though, for the prime time.
You think so?
I thought it looked nice.
Freshly pressed, you think, right?
It didn't look like all day.
Yeah. So tell us about Booger.
Anyway, the story that I was telling you when I thought that ESPN had thrown it out to remote, this is what I thought had happened. This is, the Colts drafted the guard.
Oh, yeah, but a generational guard.
Yeah, they need that Hall of Famer.
But so this is what I thought. I thought I was catching the coverage. I'm looking for the Dolphins coverage, and I thought I was catching the coverage as the main studio crew threw it out to the college crew, because how the hell would the pro crew know what the hell a college guard plays like? Like they're not talking to. I mean, I suppose they could do the research before the show.
Yeah, they
no, but I'm saying that's what I thought. I thought they went for the college analysis on the college player who was a guard. I thought they went to that crew.
I really like the infusion of the college football guys. I didn't watch any of the ESPN2 thing that you actually thought was a draft, but I loved having Kirk Herbstreit out there. I loved College Game Day before the draft coverage. You guys, did you watch College Game Day from the NFL draft?
Corso with the Kiper headgear. Oh my God!
Yeah,
oh my God!
What happened?
Yeah. Lee Corso put on a Mel Kiper head, which
College Game Day.
I must admit,
special,
was a little generous with the hairline.
Yeah,
a little too generous.
But Guillermo, you had no idea about this?
No, I didn't know it was on. I'm so sad now.
That's why Mike and I are talking about Herbie. Like the tan he was in the blazing hot sun for like 2 hours before he had to go inside and do the draft. But Mike is right. He made this point before the show. He left the sunglasses on a little too long.
I did notice that sunglass tan. He had the Zagacki look a little bit.
Yeah, but College Game Day, great. And Reese Davis. I mean, what can you say?
It's such great television. Reese is a pro's pro.
Oh, the best.
I realized somewhere midway through the first round, I was just smiling at the television, and I said to myself, I like all of these people on the television.
Yeah.
There isn't a single person here that I don't have any ill feelings towards, except for maybe Hal, but whatever.
Yeah.
Was Bear there, Stugotz?
I'm not certain. Was Fallica there?
Bear, absolutely. Yeah. Bear had a thunderous ovation when the game day guys tossed to Bear.
I love Bear.
I haven't heard a crowd pop like that since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What are they doing with the big Mel head? I'd like to get our hands on that.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so can we do this? This is what we need to do. This is what I'm worried about. And this is what we need to do as a show. Because we're entering an interesting time if we end up staying at ESPN, where the show's getting so popular that it's going to be oversaturated. Like, ESPN will absolutely make us so mainstream that we can no longer be counterculture, that we will become the unpopular thing because we're the popular thing. And so our space has always been throwing feces from the bushes and from the fringes, and that has gotten us more and more success. But if we want to steal something like the Mel Kiper head, I want to always be the show that can't just ask for it.
I don't think they'd give it to us. I don't think that show likes us very much. We'd have to steal that if we want it.
Yeah.
But I always want to be the show that tries to steal the Wingo and Golic bus. And I want to be, if we get too much more popular than this, then we become Golic and Wingo.
Yeah, but that's a nice bus, man.
It is a nice bus. It would be really nice to have a budget for a bus.
Yeah, man.
That'd be cool. Yep. Instead of stealing someone else's bus.
Nice bus.
So we want to be less popular.
You want to be you don't want to be overexposed, man. Look at what happened to Kevin Hart.
Riches? That's all that Stugotz is thinking of.
You'd rather be Chappelle, man. You'd rather be Chappelle. Riches.
I mean,
how much money does Chappelle have?
Chappelle's also very rich, probably richer.
Yeah. Golic and Wingo have the commissioner, and we have Tim Kirchin, so I don't think we're quite there yet.
Yeah, we're winning. Well, I don't want to talk to the commissioner.
What
happened to the last time we talked
to have the commissioner?
Well, here's another thing.
Who doesn't want the commissioner?
Here's another thing. Is anyone around here concerned about this if we re-up at ESPN? The NFL over the next 4 years is headed toward a dangerous place. The NFL has a partnership with ESPN. The NFL can push people around with its power because it has so many networks. If we get into a feud with football, because I'm doing things like I'm going to do in the national show today where I'm wondering, and we're celebrating Shazier as a success story, and we're not going to acknowledge the number of different ways that football did that to him, and now we're trotting him out. It was deeply uncomfortable for me, even as people cheered it and celebrated it all over the place.
I was so uncomfortable because I don't know if this is me being naive, but a lot of people experience this the same way because I asked. I don't think anyone knew it was that bad.
Oh, my God. Look, we're going to talk about this a good deal because it's the thing from the draft, even though I was watching on the wrong channel for 10 minutes, that stood out to me was this celebration of, isn't it beautiful that Shazier's out here? And I'm holding my head what a terrible idea. To the last time we saw this guy, everyone was praying that he wasn't paralyzed. And then he just sort of disappeared from your televisions, as football does.
Right.
And then he returns, and you can tell, on Instagram when he's in the hospital and he's standing up, but Roethlisberger's kind of holding him up. This is a guy who wants to play football again, but doesn't look like he can even walk well. And while we can celebrate that he's walking at all, football did that to him. I was stunned by that. I would love to celebrate that guy too and celebrate his story and rejoice that he is healing. But that is not a testament. I thought the symbolism of that, the look of it was so bad. Yeah. The idea that all these young bodies are coming into your league, and that's the danger they face.
So that's what we're discussing today?
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard. Papi, who is your favorite NFL player?
Oh, Kiko. Kiko is my man.
Oh,
Kiko.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
Kiko.
Hold on, Papi. We got a surprise for you,
Wow.
Papi. We got a surprise for you here. Hold on a second.
Stugotz.
Hello.
Hello, Papi. It's Kiko Alonso right there, Papi.
Nah, that's
Dímelo,
okay.
papi.
¡Dímelo, Kiko! ¡Papi!
Kiko, ¿cómo estás, Kiko?
Todo bien, dímelo, ¿qué pasa?
Óyeme, ¿te gusta el arroz con frijoles?
Claro, mira.
Eso es lo que te hace a ti ser un jugador bueno, mucho arroz con frijoles.
Really? Okay.
Claro.
Rice and beans are the reason Kiko Alonso is a good football player. Oh, and also some bananas.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Stugotz, yesterday was such an exciting day. It culminated with the NFL draft, and I know we have our own teams. You're a Jets fan, and I'm a Browns fan, and those were exciting portions of the draft, absolutely. But this is the Miami-only hour. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention exactly what the Dolphins did, what the excitement was around that pick, and what actually happened, and what the fan base feels about it.
Okay, so we're Dolphin fans excited? Because I was thinking the same thing, Mike. I was texting you. Once it became pretty clear that the Dolphins could get one of those quarterbacks, because after you got through the Browns pick, Denver went with Chubb, right?
It was heavily rumored that Denver was going to move down, but once Chubb was available because the Browns took Denzel Ward and everyone thought that they were going to take Chubb, then Denver decided they were going to stay put because, and by the way, that's going to be terrifying, Bradley Chubb and Von Miller together.
Yes. Yeah, but once you got past, those teams, the Bills and the Dolphins knew they had a chance of getting a quarterback. And the Bills did something about it. The Dolphins did not. The Cardinals did something about it. The Dolphins did not. Those three teams knew they had a chance to get a guy maybe they thought they didn't have a chance of getting, right? Josh Rosen or Josh Allen. And the Dolphins did nothing about it. And, they came out and said, we're going to take Minka Fitzpatrick regardless. So was that well received by the fan base? Because listen, Gase is telling you I'm fine with Tannehill. That's it. I'm good with him.
I was sort of in and off Twitter, so I didn't really gauge the Twitter reaction from it, but I was watching it in a sports bar, and the excitement was building. And I sort of liken it to when the Dolphins were on the clock and Brady Quinn was available. Everyone in that bar started getting excited about the chance to get Josh Rosen. And now that Adam Beasley has that report that they wouldn't have taken Rosen anyways, God, I wish that would have happened. I wish I would have seen that whole situation play itself out.
Where Rosen is just sitting there at 11 and they take Minka Fitzpatrick. First off, I never believed that, okay? Like, that's something that's easy to say after the fact. Did they say that before the fact?
No,
they say we're taking Minka Fitzpatrick no matter what, but that's my point, okay? You have to say that because Minka Fitzpatrick is now a Dolphin. You have no idea what they would have done. I was a little upset, disappointed the Dolphins didn't trade up a couple of spots to get Rosen. I really was.
Well,
because I just want a quarterback every year.
I know, I understand your philosophy, but they do have Ryan Tannehill, and there are other needs on this team, and that secondary needs a boost. I'm just not sure Minka Fitzpatrick's the right guy to boost it, because Minka Fitzpatrick was very good in college, very versatile. Nick Saban's favorite player, on and on and on. But I'm not really sure what he's awesome at. Derwin James, I know you have a safety that's going to be excellent at that job of safety. Minka Fitzpatrick, he played nickel mostly, and he moved around a lot on the field. And I'm not really sure what he was awesome at. I think maybe in the pros, strong safety, but Nick Saban says he sees Minka Fitzpatrick best as a free safety, which makes sense with the Miami Dolphins. But do you know if you have an excellent free safety or not?
No idea. Chris you're a Dolphin fan, right?
I am.
You're the only Dolphin fan on the show.
Big time Dolphin fan.
Guillermo, you don't care about the Dolphins, do you?
No, Guillermo's more of a Colts fan. Roy's a big time Dolphins fan.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
He seemed like the best player available. Like, honestly, I hadn't watched him play a lot, but from everything I've heard, and I was excited also about Rosen, but once he was gone, I was like, it's either Minka or Villa. Have you heard his full name, by the way?
No.
We'll get to that.
Okay. We will?
You will.
Vita Vea. I mean, what do you mean?
Well, you will.
What do you mean I will?
You will. You will. Roy, how'd you feel about the
Vita Vea.
How'd you feel about the Dolphins draft?
Double V.
I'm not angry about the draft pick. They definitely needed that boost in the secondary.
Man, I wanted Lamar.
You did? You wanted Lamar over Rosen?
I wanted Lamar. I was hoping when he was still around, I was like, it'd be so great if the Dolphins just reappear here at the end of the first round and get Lamar. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
He's from this area.
Yeah.
He'd be on the team. I mean, right now he's behind Flacco, and they have RG3. I mean, he'll jump RG3 in the Ravens, but it would have been cool to have him here.
Man.
Yeah, but the thing about Lamar is I feel like what good does he do if he's sitting on your bench for 2 or 3 years? You know, he's going to get older.
But do you really think that even if, say, the Dolphins drafted Lamar Jackson, I think he makes an immediate impact, not necessarily as your starter, but he's not just going to rot away on the bench. He's so explosive with design runs and whatnot. He's going to have a ton of packages in Baltimore, you got to think.
Yeah. Listen, for me, the draft is all about excitement for one day, for one moment, and I can't get excited about a safety. I just can't do it.
But a safety from Alabama, I think that's what a lot of people in the sports
If you're going to get excited
doing.
about a safety, you'll get excited about a safety from Alabama.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of people in the sports bar were really disappointed, and I think the overall, like, they really couldn't enjoy that pick or take it for what it was because they were all super excited about Josh Rosen. When that came away, I think a lot of people, especially Miami being an ACC town, were probably leaning more towards Derwin James. But they clapped their hands and resigned to themselves to the fact that, okay, it's a player from Alabama and Alabama's good, right?
If that was a safety from anywhere else, though, I mean, can you imagine the reaction?
Yeah, if it were a safety from Memphis, it's not going over at all. Because then people will just start projecting their anger from Rosen not being there.
Yes.
What are your power rankings for positions you want on draft night after quarterback?
After quarterback, I want some flash, man. I want, like, wide receiver.
Tight end.
Lockdown cornerback, maybe. Defensive end, pass rusher.
As someone who drafted the lockdown corner at 4, it's really not all it's cracked up to be.
I kind of like the idea of best safety in the draft. Even though,
really?
Is he second best safety?
But you don't know if he's a safety or not.
I just want to ask you a question. If it was Minkah Fitzpatrick from the University of Memphis, would you be excited today?
If I told you, hey, there's this tweener from Memphis, and you don't know if he's a corner or a safety, you're not getting excited about it.
Right.
But you're just taking Nick Saban's word for it.
Pass rusher.
Well,
pass rusher, I think.
Yes, edge rusher.
I was going to say, wouldn't the power rankings be pass rusher second? Wouldn't you?
That's how, in terms of value, what you see at the top of the draft, it's usually either a quarterback goes number 1 or a pass rusher goes number 1.
Let me ask.
Give me a big time wide receiver.
Sexy
man.
name. I just want a name.
Yeah, and that's that's what the second round is
2.
all. Like, all I want out of the second round is my team to take a guy that I've heard of.
Yeah,
I don't even care if he's good, just that I've heard of him.
Then you think it's a steal. Oh my god, I know this guy. It's the 3rd round. I know this guy.
Yeah,
steal.
or you just look at Mel's best available, and if a guy's been best available for very long, you're just like, oh, you got to grab that guy. That guy's been on Mel's best available for 2 hours.
If you're by pick 87 and pick number 45 is still there, you're like, you got to get 45.
Ravens had it last night with Lamar Jackson. He was like
15.
He was
and they got him at 32.
They got him at 30. Great value.
My favorite interaction of last night was texting with Stugotz, where he got super excited about Sam Darnold, and his whole reason for getting excited about Sam Darnold is we got a guy that was supposed to go number 1.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of a trick is that? Supposed to go number 1 according to who?
I was trying to get myself to a good place, man.
He went number 3.
Mike, this is what he does.
Very upset.
This is what he does. He's excited when you're talking to him, and he says, we got a guy who should have gone number 1. But then when they ask him about it on SportsCenter, he's like ripping him because his grandfather's the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know why you would rip him. So I'm looking at Stugotz, and I'm like, why? The Marlboro Man was cool. Didn't he represent cool? And Stugotz spits at me. He represented cancer.
Yeah,
not anymore. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what he did. And Josh Rosen, look at all his family members. They're all Olympians. I mean, I got a guy who smokes cigarettes.
But his value is his value. He wasn't supposed to go number 1. No one knew who was supposed to go number 1.
Hold on. How can Jets fan Stugotz possibly have a problem with his quarterback being the grandson of the Marlboro Man whose name is actually Dick Hammer? How is that something that Stugotz can have a problem with?
I mean, if we're drafting guys, like a team of guys who could smoke cigarettes, I mean, that'd be a great pick. But we're not. We're drafting quarterbacks.
Well, who would be on that team? I'll start the bidding with Marion Butts.
I mean, Sam Darnold's got the Cutler face.
Roy, what do you got? But what else? No, we're not going based on, we're not who looks like they smell like cigarettes. That's Vlade Divac. We did that 15 years ago. We closed that case.
Yep.
People in sports whose names connote cigarettes. So I started the bidding with Marion Butts.
It's a great one, yeah.
Craig Carton.
Excellent, man.
Arthur Ashe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Jeff Smoker.
Yeah. Mark Cuban.
We're back.
Cuban cigar?
Yeah,
okay. All right. Okay. It's tough. Mark Cuban. Cuban Gooding Jr.
You ruined it.
Yeah.
Give it. You ruined it after I ruined it. You guys were having fun.
J.R. Smith.
Oh, pipe.
Oh, man. Yeah. Don Lebatard.
I'll tell you one guy you don't want to mess with is Ryback. You could watch a movie on his back in the competition. He gets the crowd chanting, "Feed me more."
Stugotz.
How was that you hit by Ryback like that? Good night. Oh, I get a sore throat watching Ryback. Don't do it, Ryback. Oh! Watch out for Ryback.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Al Leiter.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you got me.
Ooh, Jameis Winston.
LeGarrette Blount.
Same game, exactly.
What do you mean it's not the same game?
Well, you expanded it.
Yeah.
No, it just connotes smoking.
Fine.
If it's a blunt.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Which part? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Somebody gave Justin smoke already, right?
The smoke monster.
Brandon Whedon.
Oh, great one.
786-456-4837 is the telephone number if you want to give us athlete or sports personality names that connote smoking. I haven't seen a smile on the face of Roy like this since the birth of his daughter. Like, I don't know, what is it? Are you just remembering the old days?
Yeah, this is old school Le Batard, man. Yeah, this is what I grew up on.
This is old school. We're going into the Pall Malls.
Goran Dragic.
I get it.
Yeah, I got it. See what I did there. Tree
huh?
Rollins.
So the telephone number is 786-456-4837 if you want to play, after the draft, this ridiculous game of sports figures who connote smoking.
Tom Coughlin.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
I've been trying to think of something like lung Alcindor. I've been trying to figure
Lung
out.
Alcindor.
I've been trying to find the lung, and I can't find anybody. So I just Lungo. I can't do it.
Todd Bowles.
Yes, that is the. Hey, can you guys help me out with somebody as we're mentioning marijuana? I want to Bleacher Report. This kid who was down here this week, Master, did this report for Bleacher Report where he went and smoked marijuana with athletes. Can you guys take a look at that? Because I haven't seen it yet, but he went and smoked marijuana with athletes, and that was the story. And I was surprised. I was thinking back to a time. Do you remember this, Stugotz? Back when magazine journalism was something that people cling to, and you'd, read these magazines and you'd become interested in the lives of others. The music stars and the hip hop stars, whenever they were profiled, they were always smoking marijuana, and it was written about freely, and it didn't have very much stigma in Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been done with athletes, and it would be shocking if at any point before this time in society, if it had ever been done. Can you imagine if you were reading Sports Illustrated, and the way Snoop Dogg does interviews is he's always just smoking blunt after blunt. If you were reading a Sports Illustrated interview with somebody, a magazine profile, and they told you LeBron James said hitting from a bong. Wasn't there a podcast that Draymond Green did last year where it sounded like a bong? And my question to you is, with this Bleacher Report story that I'd like for you guys to look at, the stigma that's fallen on this marijuana stuff, Stugotz, has fallen so quickly that if I showed you a video right now, and I wasn't watching the video with the sound up, but I thought I saw Kyrie Irving, and I'm like, wait a minute, was Kyrie Irving smoking on this piece as an active basketball player? Now, I don't know if he was or he wasn't. I don't even know if I actually saw Kyrie Irving because I was watching very passively. But I was just surprised in general at the idea. I saw Kenyon Martin. There were some athletes there just blowing smoke into the camera, and I just couldn't have imagined that as recently as how long ago?
5 years ago, right?
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is. It turned very quick. Well, I mean, it's legal in many states.
I know, but what I'm saying, you remember the conversation?
Ricky was in this, by
You
the way.
remember the conversations we were having 10 years ago about the idea of why doesn't the government just start selling marijuana and then taxing it if everybody's doing it anyway? So you don't have these synthetic weed situations where these football players are trying to do something to kill the pain, and they use this synthetic stuff that makes them, run naked with a hatchet toward the police station.
Right. I'm checking it out right now, actually. This whole, no shock to anyone. Matt Barnes is the first guy up.
Sean Smith, Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin.
It's a good idea.
It is a good idea. Guy got paid for that? Just came down here and smoked weed with a bunch of athletes?
Well, he didn't come down here and smoke the weed. He was here visiting us, and that's the piece that he did.
Freddie Roach.
How do Dolphin fans feel about Minkah Fitzpatrick? Like how the Dolphin community feels how today? You would have been made insane if they had taken a guard, even if it was one of those generational guards they were talking about.
I mean, Mike was at a sports bar last night, so he got
we talked about it last segment. You were sitting right there. It's kind of weird that you don't remember. Yeah. I got the true pulse of Dolphins Nation, and I think everyone was just too disappointed to really appreciate the pick because Rosen went right before it. That entire bar, the momentum was gaining. It was pretty electric. There was an absolute buzz. You could feel it in the air. Everybody wanted Rosen. Everyone was
excited. So everybody was doing the thing that I was doing because I tuned in for the Dolphin pick just because I'm like, wait, is Rosen going to fall to them?
Well, once you got to the Colts, Broncos didn't take a quarterback. They didn't trade that pick. They took a guy they didn't expect to be there in Chubb. Once you got to the Colts, you knew that none of those teams, the next 4 or 5 teams, did not need a quarterback.
Well, let me ask you guys this question, okay? Because if you're a Dolphin fan or if you followed this team for any period of time, it has been wildly frustrating. Everything that's happened in the drafts, around the drafts, management changes. They're a lost franchise. They've been a lost franchise for a long time. We still don't know about their quarterback. They seem to think they know about their quarterback. I preface what I'm about to say with, I thought David Carr and Danny Werfel were the best college quarterbacks I'd ever seen. I preface what I'm about to say with, I thought the Lions were going to make the playoffs the year that they went 0-16. Josh Rosen goes with Jameis Winston as the best freshman quarterback I have ever seen play college football. For me. Now, I believe that Winston wasn't a true freshman, right? He was a redshirt freshman.
He was a redshirt freshman.
And the chosen one was a freshman. He did not get a lot of help from Mora and UCLA, but as I watched that guy play, and I can't come on here and pretend that I know why Josh Allen has a 55% completion rate or threw for fewer than 2,000 yards in college. Josh Allen, I can't understand that because I didn't watch him play. But when I watched Josh Rosen play, I said that is a quarterback that I think will be in the NFL for 10 years and will be really good because from out of the gate, he was poised. He felt like a pro. I remember the first time I watched him, Stugotz, and I told you, he felt like a pro from the first time he took a snap. And having seen Ken Dorsey go into a game in Virginia Tech and nearly wet himself by his own admission because he was so scared of the crowd noise, Ken Dorsey. To see a quarterback be that kind of poised. And now to see him put his face in this buzzsaw and say, everyone made a mistake drafting anybody ahead of me.
I love that.
9 mistakes ahead of me. The idea that he gets out there and is this smart and this confident and this bold, good God, did it hurt that the Dolphins didn't want him? Because they didn't.
Oh, they didn't want him then. They could have had him. They didn't want him.
No, they didn't want him. Right. And if they did want him, right, Adam Beasley's reporting, they would not have drafted him if he had fallen to 11, which would have been all kinds of infuriating.
Would have liked to seen that.
But if they had just wanted him and gone to pick up, I feel like they would have had a quarterback for 10 years that people could have been excited about.
Yeah, you think that, forget need, and Tannehill, if he's healthy, isn't a bad quarterback at all. And these football people are looking at how are we going to improve our team because there's some jobs on the line now. Rosen's not a need, but you're of the thinking that just get Rosen and your franchise is set for
I feel that way.
10
Like,
years.
look, I'm going to be wrong on this stuff all the time, but when I saw this kid play, I was like, holy bleep. Right. Oh, wait a minute. And I started asking those questions. You know how you do when you're introduced to certain people in college football? The Honey Badger was like this. A few times you're watching him, wait a minute, who was that? Like, Barkley's like that. Where you're like, okay, he's a better athlete than anybody who's out there. Julio Jones was like that. A.J. Green was like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. But Baker Mayfield, the same way.
You're 0 for 2 on these, though, right? Like greatest.
That's
David Carr, and then it's Jameis Winston.
The interesting
Jerry's
trick is Rosen actually never really got better than that freshman year. He just sort of maintained.
He never did. That's right.
Didn't you do this with Mike Glennon too?
Well, no. With
Not
Mike Glennon, you guys were making fun before an NC State game of both Glennon and Trubisky against North Carolina, and both times I told you that those quarterbacks were pros.
Oh, I believed you.
Not good pros. I just told you they were pros.
Well, you nailed it. They're pros. I mean, good job out of you. Yeah,
Chris, no.
Those aren't bad predictions.
Look, I just admitted all the things I got wrong. You want to stack more on there that aren't actually wrong? I remember arguing with you guys. You guys are telling me, Trubisky, who the hell's Miami going to ever lose? The U is back. They won't lose to Trubisky.
Wait, you made the proclamation that Mitchell Trubisky was going to be a pro?
I did it right here with you.
That's impressive.
No, I stole it from Whittingham, but I did it right here with you.
You stole that take?
That was when I first started. I remember you being pretty high on Mike Glennon, more than just a pro.
Look at the contract he got. Dan wasn't wrong.
Well, now the Cardinals, they have Glennon and they have Josh Rosen. This is Dan's
You're a Cardinals
team.
guy now. You're a Cardinals guy now.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Never saw that.
And they've got the perfect butt of Larry Fitzgerald. They are my team.
Yeah, Sam Bradford's going to ruin everything now.
Glennon does have a great neck. I see where you thought he was going to be a great quarterback.
Right, yeah.
I don't think. Wait a minute.
See over
Mike,
the pocket. Yeah.
All right, help me out here because you guys know I've been having memory problems. You point them out to me all the time. Help me out here. What is the accurate appraisal of what my Mike Glennon take was? What is the most accurate appraisal?
You thought he'd be a solid pro, and depending on look, that's the listeners' problems if they think that you thought he would be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Mike Glennon, absolutely solid pro.
But I do love the idea of Dan not remembering his exact take, and we could just tell him anything. You had him as a Hall of Famer.
No, I remember my take. I think you guys are misrepresenting it.
I remember that take just as well as I remember your Riley Skinner take.
Oh.
I loved Riley Skinner. If Riley Skinner played today, he'd be Baker Mayfield. I loved Riley Skinner at Wake Forest, but I think you made me fall in love with Riley Skinner.
They were
good. Yeah.
They were a covering machine. Those Demon Deacons.
He was so feisty, that kid.
Robbie, you're on 790 The Ticket. Go ahead, Robbie.
Nick Swisher.
Nick Swisher, guys, is a nominee. Nick Swisher gets. Well, give me a fanfare, noise, something. Winner noise or loser noise. Colin, you're on 790.
Samari Roll.
I tell the nation all the time Miami's good at this, and you're not. Kevin, you're on 790.
Dusty Baker.
Mark, you're on 790.
I got two for you, gentlemen. One on offense, one on defense. Ryan Leaf and Bud Dupree.
Well, Bud was already taken. Bud Grant closed that category.
All right, so 786-456-4837 is the telephone number if you want to go old school Le Batard show. I want to do can we do Flashback Friday? Where's all the old stuff? Just can you get me fake Howard Schnellenberger talking to Jason Taylor at Wheel of Fortune? Just let's go all old school. Guillermo, let's take some nominations. What would you like to hear from the Wayback Tank?
Is that what we're calling it? The Wayback Tank?
Let's not do that. No? None of it? You guys don't want to do any of it? Guillermo, how many muffins have you just thrown into your face right now?
Oh, today's a chocolate donut day. I like lots of different types of donuts. What's your favorite donut, Dan?
I don't eat donuts, Guillermo.
Why not? When's the last time you had a donut?
Like 8th grade.
Really?
Yes.
I don't believe that.
A cruller. I like the crullers.
Really?
That's an okay donut.
Let's play a game where you eat things that you're not supposed to eat. See what happens.
There's no chance that you haven't had a donut since 8th grade. Dan.
So poison me. Poison me is what you're saying, Chris. Poison me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't believe a lot of it. Like, you were eating things years ago, and now all of a sudden you can't eat things.
I don't eat donuts.
You're still alive today. You survived donuts. You can survive donuts again.
I don't have any dispute with you guys calling me fat. I do have a dispute with you guys calling me a liar. If I said I didn't eat donuts from the 8th grade on, just believe it and let's move on.
You used to come over to my house and just eat nachos constantly.
Oh, yeah. Those Tostitos. I used to steal Chris's Tostitos. That I'll cop to. I'll sit in a bathtub full of Tostitos.
How? But I don't understand, like, no offense, but, like, this is not the body of someone that just eats quinoa, whatever it's called.
$2.
I mean, no, I'm not going to give him $2. Guillermo, like, you don't seem to understand what it is, right? Because you guys see me out. I'm exercising every day at 6 o'clock on this beach. I'm running around.
We're not seeing you.
I am wildly. All right. Okay.
I know. We waited out there one morning just to see. We did. We were all there.
Okay. Okay. If you want to just play song after song from our Wayback Machine.
The podcast will be 4 minutes long.
That's fine. What do I care? They're paying for the work. They're not paying. Like, what? I don't care whether it's 4 minutes long or 2 hours long. What difference does it make? Because what? Somebody's going to want to sue us for the music rights of what we just did there? I want that lawsuit. Like, I'll go to court on that lawsuit. Whoever wants to fight us on whether or not we can air that because of copyright laws. Dylan, you're on 790, Dylan. Go ahead, Dylan.
Jake Butt.
Jay, you're on 790. Go ahead, Jay.
Artie Burns.
JC, you're on 790, JC.
Roddy Piper.
Let's go to another terrible song, right? That would be the musical note to hit right here. I'm out of calls, Mike. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep going to bad call after bad call after bad call for the rest of my life.
Dr. J.
We used to be so good at this.
I know, right? Eddie C will save us. He's old school. Eddie C, go ahead.
Wow.
Sparky Lyle.
Sparky Lyle. See, thank you, Eddie C.
Eddie C.
Christ almighty, man.
I want to
Young
hug you,
people
Eddie
don't
C.
know how to do anything. Man. You new people. You people have been listening to us for 4 years and think, oh, yeah, I'm first. Eddie C just showed you how it's done. Love of God. 8 straight failures. You're not going to find a song, are you?
The hop, the hibbit to the hibbity hip hip a hop. Don't stop. There you go. Well, we're going to keep going, but we're running out of time with you, Jason. I appreciate you coming